Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Tin Shed Shenanigans. Today I am going to start a new project. We have a Cub Cadet RZT with a 50-inch deck. It's got a flat tire. I know it runs and drives. This one I was given and I was told, here, you can have it. Try to fool them with it. It keeps throwing belts. It runs and drives. It's got a flat tire. Has the 24 horsepower Kawasaki motor. So I'm going to get it fired up and drive it around to the front of the shed so I can use all my tools and everything, and then I'll get back with y'all. Okay, guys. So we got it around the front of the shop. Around the front of the shop. Had to use the battery charger and jump it off. And it took a little second for it to charge just because the battery's from 21, so it needs a battery first and foremost. Put some air in the tires. I'm getting it cleaned off now so we can kind of see what we're working with, and then I'm going to pop those covers off, and that way I can really, see the deck and everything. So I'm going to get y'all set up and get this thing, blown off the best I can. I'm not going to pressure wash it because it's like 40 outside, and I don't have a pressure washer. So that's my two reasons for that. Okay, so it's not perfect, but I did get all the leaves and everything bunched up, kind of around most of it. A little cover won't stay on. I'm gonna figure out what's up with that. It does run. It's just really loud. So again, I'll wait to fire it up until I have it, good enough. Probably a new battery so I can start with the key instead of having to jump it off every time. But we do have, like I said, Cub Cadet RZT with a 50-inch deck. It is missing one wheel. That wheel is that, so that's got to be fixed. But, priority is getting it cutting first. We'll rob parts off of another lawnmower if we need to, or, go find up parts. This tire had no air in it. It's got a plug in the side. It runs, it drives. That's how I've driven around here. But like I said, it was just kept throwing belts. This wheel's also like this. It looks like just the wheel. It's been worn out before. So the belt is currently off. And that looks like a pulley back there. I think it's a drive pulley. Yeah. So that's a drive pulley. I'm gonna get these. There's 3, I think they're 13 millimeters, and that looks like a 10 that are holding each of these little covers on, and that's where your main spindles are. And we're just gonna make sure that the spindles aren't, toast or anything like that. So I'm gonna go grab some tools to do that, and I'll bring it. Okay, guys. So we got the deck out from under it, just because it was easier to see everything and show you everything. When I first got it off, I should have really been filming, but I wasn't. This spring was off. So that's the tensioner spring. It was completely off. I didn't really see any kind of imbalance on any of the pulleys or anything. We are missing a wheel, which probably causes, some imbalance issues with the deck, and that may have actually been the factor that threw the belt last time. But I was thinking it was a pulley and it kept throwing the belt until I got the belt off. There's some of it, and then I looked under it to make sure that my crank pulley wasn't, messed up or anything. Let's see if I can get y'all to see that. The belt is completely wrapped around the crank pulley. So let's see if I can get y'all set up. There we go. I'm gonna grab a pair of pliers if I can get that out. Okay, I'm back. I got a set of channel locks. Name brand channel locks at that. Ooh, I caught my finger in between something in it. I think it bruised it a little bit. Doesn't feel too great, but oh well. Yeah, that's really stuck on there. There we go. Yeah, so I'm gonna guess, guys, that what happened was, since that deck is missing a little wheel on the deck, that it caused it to get a little out of balance, and, you know, shredded that. I know y'all are seeing the struggle getting this belt off. I may have to end up cutting it out. But that thing is in there. Ooh, knocked it all over by accident. Sorry about that. Let's see, there we go. I should have a belt here that I can, you know, put this whole thing back together and see if that doesn't fix it. Maybe I can find a wheel on one of these other mowers. Okay, I'm gonna get something to cut this thing off, because it's not gonna come off. But I don't have a deck belt that's long enough in all the belts I bought. All the ones I have are like 91 inches and things like that. This one takes one that is 134 inches. The one off that mower is 137, so it's 3 inches too long. But I'm gonna get a deck belt and 4 deck wheels ordered for this thing. I'm leaving these little metal covers off just because there was so much dirt and leaves piled up in there. It's really gonna rust out the deck if I don't. So I'm gonna get all that ordered, and when it comes in, I will get back with y'all and put everything on, because I really think that this wheel being off is what caused everything to just kind of be unbalanced. So I'm gonna get this thing, put the deck out of the weather so it's not holding water anymore, and I've got one of the little covers just over the engine for right now, just to keep water from getting in it. And yeah, so once those parts comes in, I will get back on this thing. But yeah. All right, guys, so we're back out here again. Where we left off was I was gonna get the wheels off the deck and get a new belt on it, because the belt that was on it was shredded in about 100 pieces, and I had to order parts, and it took a few days for those to come in. So we are now back out here. Got some new wheels. Just normal run-of-the-mill stuff. Got them off Amazon. Stuff works pretty good. Yeah, this was not the right belt. I just kind of threw a belt on here to see. There it goes. See if my pulleys were, you know, aligned or anything. It was just a belt I had laying around. It wasn't one of the ones I bought. So I'm gonna get these wheels popped off. Let's see where it is. This one's gonna be fun, because I'm gonna have to straighten this bracket back out, because that one's bent. This one, okay, so they're 3/4 and probably 9/16 if I have to guess. Hey, yeah, so this one is bent. So I'm gonna get this straightened out, get these new wheels on, show y'all what it looks like once it's done. And then it was raining earlier, that's why we're in the shop with the deck. It was raining earlier, it's not raining anymore. So I'll get the new belt on and we'll stick it on the lawnmower, and then we'll see if it, you know, throws the belt or does good. All right, so we got new wheels on. As you can see where they've been rubbing, it's kind of eating into that a little bit, but it's still pretty strong. Some of them I had to put like washers on just where it was so wore out. But we got 4 brand new wheels on it. Oh yeah, that's right, I got it resting on something, so it's gonna hit. I'm gonna put some PB Blast on all these pulleys Just make sure that all of them are good. I don't have a grease gun here just yet. That's something else I need to... There's another shop tool I need to buy once I get, you know, all of this organized. So yeah, I'm gonna get this sprayed up, throw it into the mower, hook the belt up. So it's starting to rain, and the battery is still on charge. So I can't really fire it up tonight. Also, it's like 9 o'clock. So I can't really fire it up tonight to show you, but there's one thing I wanted to point out tonight, because I did get the deck on, got the belt on, everything like that. Everything's looking good. When you're installing a belt, especially a V-belt, you'll have some pulleys that are grooved like this. You see how this belt is, where it's kind of like a little, oh, it's not a pentagon, a rhombus. It's rhombus shaped, it's wider. You'll have flats, like this flat back right here, flat to flat, kind of how this pulley's flat. You can stick your thumb in it. This one you can't really stick your thumb in, and it's grooved. It's groove to groove and flat to flat. Yeah, that's why all that rain coming down is why I can't fire it up tonight. But belt's on, everything looks good. Keeping tight. Got our front installed. That's just kind of like a guide, holds everything on. It's a pivot point, really. We've got all of our bars connected, so once the battery is charged, we will get it fired up, make sure everything is going good. So yeah, well, that's probably going to be it for tonight. So maybe this weekend, if it's not raining, I think it should be, maybe this weekend I'll get back on this thing and get it fired up. All right, guys, so working on this thing again tonight. The battery took somewhat of a charge. It was enough for me to kind of jump it off, and it fired off right off the bat. I drove it to right out there, right, just like 10 yards that way. Hit the PTO switch, nothing. It died right there and wouldn't start back. And let me show you what I found and how I know that this was the cause. Okay, so remember how the belt was all wrapped around here and everything, and I was like, oh, that wiring's fine. I'm sure it's fine. Actually, I don't know if I had said that on camera, but I didn't until just now. Yeah, that's the wiring. It wrapped the positive and negative around each other. So I'm gonna unplug that up there and cut this zip tie so I can fix that. But let me get it unplugged first. See if I can do this one-handed. Get y'all where y'all can see a little better. There it is. Right, I'm gonna get this unplugged, and that way y'all can see the real damage. Yeah, I got everything tore apart, and what happened was these two wires were touching just like that. And see how one's red and one's black? This is a positive and a negative. That's how this little clutch works. Positive and negative. It'll take, I'm trying to remember, some of them are normally grounded, some of them are positive, you know, where if you give it power, it'll close. If you take the power away, it'll close. It all depends on the circuit. It's like an AC compressor, though, on a car. So let's just, for explanation purposes, let's just say ground. Let's say this one needs ground and it'll close. So ground is supplied whenever you open the switch or ground is taken away, and then it'll allow everything to function as it should. Wow, that is a lot of dirt up in here. It'll allow everything to function as it should. Well, those two are touching, so whenever I hit that switch, it put the positive and the negative together, which is not good. So it blew a fuse somewhere. So we're gonna leave this disconnected and we're gonna find that fuse, and hopefully I have one. I think I should. And I'll get some butt connectors in here and fix that and reconnect everything. But yeah, I'm thinking this is gonna be a two-part, because I'm already in this pretty long. So we'll get this wiring fixed, and then part 2, we'll make sure everything runs and drives smoothly, and we'll get it all cleaned up and sharpen the blades and put a new fuel filter on it, maybe do an oil change. So yeah, this is gonna be part 1. Once this electrical is dealt with, it'll be the end of part 1, and part 2 will be the fun stuff. All right, guys, found the main, oh, if I don't throw it on the ground, I found the main power fuse. I'm gonna just throw this thing on the ground twice, I guess. All right, main power fuse. If you can see, that little bitty black spot in there is where that little connector, that little arch right there, got smoked. Meaning when it hit positive and negative together, it smoked that thing. And that's why fuses are important. That's why fuses are very, very important. So let's dig around. Let's see, this is a 20 amp. Do we have any 20 amps? We have a 10 amp. Those are 1 amps. Got a 15, got a 40 amp. I do have some 20s in these little resettable ones, but these are mini fuses. So the difference between like a mini and a normal mini is just a lot smaller. This is called a maxi fuse. This thing is huge, but it's mostly on big trucks. You don't normally have those on small automotive. So let's see, it had a 20 in it. We're gonna put a 15 just because that's what I've got, and I don't want to put a 40 in it. Always go back with the fuse it had or a little bit smaller, because if you put too big of a fuse in it, then you are asking for disaster if it ever blows. I'm trying to figure out how to prop y'all up so I can get this fuse back in here. Well, actually, so this fuse goes right here. It's connected to the solenoid. Oh, there it goes. It's connected to your starter solenoid. All right. Yep, see? There's enough battery voltage now. It wasn't doing that before. So that was our issue. That was blown. I'm going to go snip those wires, get them cleaned up, get that plugged back in, and this will be the end of part 1. So make sure you stay tuned, like, subscribe, so when part 2 comes out, you won't miss any action. Hopefully that'll be in like a few short days after this is posted is when part 2 will come out. If this thing doesn't give me any more issues. So let's go get those wires fixed. All right, guys, so we got the wiring fixed. See, we got it pretty good. That's where all the damage was. I like to use these little heat shrink butt connectors. They have the heat shrink on them. They're called watertight heat shrink butt connector assortment. You can get this kit at Harbor Freight. All right, so this is gonna be it for part 1. I don't want this video to be too long and then it'd be a nightmare to sit through. So make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Hit that little notification bell for part 2, where we're gonna get all this buttoned up and make sure everything is good to go, and make sure that this thing, you know, we know it runs and drives, but we want to make sure if it cuts, we'll probably do a little bit of welding to this exhaust because it's connected with baling wire right now. Sharpen the blades. So yeah, y'all stay tuned for part 2. Thank you for watching another episode of Tin Shed Shenanigans.